In this problem, x is greater than or equal to 14. These are the formulas that you need in case you don't have them yet. So how you're going to think about this is the trials, the n. These are our x values, starting from 0 all the way to 16. Okay? And they are wanting us to figure out the probabilities for x when it's greater than or equal to 14. So that means we're going to need to calculate for x equals 14 and x equals 15 and x equals 16. So how I started here was just this piece of the formula, and n is your number of trials. So for this problem, n is always going to be 16. And on this side of the big C is your x value. And this first time that we're doing this with 14. And I'm going to do this the long way. So n factorial means 16 factorial over x factorial is this, x 14 factorial times n minus x factorial, n minus x factorial, okay? These factorials, this just means 16 times 15 all the way down to times 1. 14 factorial means 14 times 13 times 12 all the way down to 1. And then 2 factorial, this right here is being multiplied. So we're still multiplying, and then 2 factorial is 2 times 1. Then, before you start multiplying, you're crossing out everything from the top and the bottom that's exactly the same, which is what we did here. So we ended up with just 16 times 15 is 240, and 2 times 1 is 2, and that divides out to be 120. Then we're taking that 120 and we're putting it into the mother formula. This is for x equals 14. Okay, there's our 120 times p to the power of x times 1 minus x to the power of n minus x, the same as this number right here. And then you're just putting that in the calculator and getting a number. And you want to just mark this in some way. When you get this number for, this is for 14, x equals 14. When you get it for x equals 15 and x equals 16, then you're just going to add them up and that will be your answer. Now, let's look at getting that for 15. Okay, so n is still 16 for this whole problem. This time, x is 15. Okay, so 16 factorial, and then 15 factorial times n minus x. So that's 1 factorial. Okay, now this time, I'm not going to write out all these numbers. We already know what they look like. And we already know that if I write the 15 out all along here on the bottom, it's going to cross out all from the 15s down to the 1. Okay, so this is basically factoring away completely, and this is going to leave us with just the 16 that didn't factor out from the 15 times 14 times 13, etc. that would look like that. And then this is just times 1, so that's here, and that's going to be 16. We're going to put that in the formula for x equals 15, 16 that we got from here, times p to the power of x times 1 minus p to the power of n minus x. It's also this number here. Put that in the calculator. And then we'll do the same thing for x equals 16. And so you can see that when we work this out, the 16 factorial is going to completely cancel out 16 factorial in the denominator. But don't forget, that does leave a little tiny 1 in the numerator and in the denominator. So that's what we get here, just the 1. And then it's 1 times 0 factorial is 1. So that's where that 1 comes from. And then, of course, that's just 1. Put it in the formula for x equals 16. This 1 is this one. Then we have p to the power of x times 1 minus p to the n minus x. So that's 0. That's where that comes from. And that's the same as that number right there. Now, a little trick, when you put this in the calculator, you don't even really have to put it in the calculator. Any number raised to the power of 0 is just 1. And this is also 1. So really, you just need this, 0.6 to the power of 16. And that's what we come out with. Then we add these 3 numbers together. That's what I got, and round it to 4 decimal places. That is the final answer for this very long problem.